Hello, kia ora. I'm Philip Duncan. It is Wednesday, the 11th of June, and we've still got this very large low pressure zone out in the Tasman Sea, sparking thunderstorms and downpours as it moves in across parts of the country. Although it is still colder in the lower South Island, frosts again this morning. But look at all the thunderstorms coming into places like Taranaki down towards the northwest corner of the South Island, even as far down the west coast towards Greymouth. We're seeing these thunderstorms coming in from the low that is spiralling out at sea. So we've got the main band of rain that came through last night. You can see a few thunderstorms early this morning as it cleared Eastern Bay of Plenty in the East Cape area. And as we go through this morning, more of those thunderstorms off the Tasman for the western side. But you can see more out at sea. And as the low moves in over the next couple of days and falls apart, some more of those downpours and thunderstorms come on in. Here is the situation for this evening. So you can see the large pool of low pressure in the Tasman connecting up with even deeper low pressure, as you would expect at this time of the year, down near Antarctica. But there is a lot of high pressure surrounding this system, and that's part of the reason the low is going to fall apart. This high up here stretching all the way up to Fiji and Samoa, so that is quite a significant area of high pressure. But northwesterly winds for the North Island, southeasterly winds for the lower South Island. That's why the top of the country has been fairly mild for this time of the year, while the south has been fairly cold. All right, let's have a look now at the frost map. Speaking of, they are shrinking. You see today, tomorrow morning versus Friday morning, those frosts becoming pretty much alpine related, although there may still be a few here and there in certain valleys around Otago, Southland and Canterbury. But look, the North Island frost free as we've got that low pressure system coming in. So here's this evening, low pressure off the west coast of the South Island, northwesterly winds over much of the North Island and the very top of the South Island. And then from about sort of Banks Peninsula southwards, that is more of an easterly flow. That's why it is cold in places like Dunedin to Invercargill. That wind off the sea, never very friendly at this time of the year as far as temperatures are concerned. And the thunderstorms are wrapped around the centre of that low, mostly on the Tasman Sea side of things. So here is the thunderstorm risk for this evening. It's not as pronounced as it was yesterday. That's what came through overnight and first thing this morning. By this evening, well out to sea. And we've got a lower risk now. Most of the yellow that you see here, a couple of spots of orange in it, possible thunderstorm, likely thunderstorm, basically in that area. All of that yellow that you see in the Tasman, heavy downpours, probably the main takeaway. And yes, maybe some hail and thunder in there, but mostly we're talking about some big downpours coming through. So by noon Thursday, the low is closer to the west coast of the South Island. The air pressure 994, that is going up. So the low is weakening as it does so. But there are still a few thunderstorms, as we've just seen, coming in to the western side of the country. Westerly winds, or maybe a little bit more northwest for the top of New Zealand. And once again, easterly winds coming in Canterbury southwards. That's why your temperatures are still down around the lower South Island, although that frost risk does ease back to some degree. Here is the thunderstorm risk for tomorrow evening, 6 o'clock. So basically now we're only in the lower part of the scale for the risk of thunderstorms. So once more likely to be downpours coming through. And yes, it might have thunder, but that's not the main feature really. The yellow area shows the instability coming in, top of the South Island to the top of the North Island, and it's westerly driven. So those of you in the east, you might get a downpour or a thunderstorm. Most of that energy though, over on the west coast. Noon Friday, look at the air pressure here, about 1,004. It is going up and up and up, which means the low is weakening. As it does that, the downpours become less intense, but there is still one last gasp here along the western side, roughly Auckland to about Taranaki, maybe coming into the lower part of the North Island as well. But there is a colder airflow. The blue line here measuring the polar airflow that's south of New Zealand, that is moving northwards. So if you're in Canterbury in particular, but also Otago, you'll be feeling that temperature drop as that southerly comes on through. So the thunderstorm risk at lunchtime on Friday, not as big. You can see most of the energy out to the east of the country. So a few last remaining downpours might have some isolated thunder. Otherwise, just a few more downpours coming through as we go through Friday. And by Saturday, that's all that's left over of the low pressure system. The southerly change, I mentioned that's moving up the South Island on Friday. That is it coming into the lower North Island. So your temperatures will drop at the lower part of New Zealand. Showers still remain though. Taranaki, Western Waikato, Auckland, maybe still Northland. Those are the areas still getting some of those showers straight off the Tasman Sea. But most other places are dry. This is actually high pressure just off the coast of Canterbury, and that's connecting up with this big high right over the top of Canberra. So going through the weekend, the leftovers hang around, and this is a messy forecast. We've got these sort of, like I said yesterday, these sort of potholes in the sky. No big main low pressure system driving. We've got low pressure to the east, near the Chatham Islands, around the North Island and to the north of the country. That's just messy kind of weather. So there'll be showers, sunny spells. The winds won't be very strong in most places. The colder airflow pretty much from the lower North Island southwards, but many places on Sunday may actually feel more of a southerly coming through. Might not be till the end of the day for some places. Won't be very strong. But the high pressure system out here in the Tasman Sea, connecting up even south of New Zealand, that is encouraging a southerly flow. This one in the Tasman in particular, dragging that southerly northwards. So as we get into next week, high pressure returns to the South Island. Frosts return to the South Island. In the North Island, because the airflow is going all the way around this high pressure system, it comes up from southeast of the Chatham Islands, and that is the airflow coming into the North Island. So temperatures are down on Monday in the north. There might be a light dusting of snow again around Central Plateau, mostly on the mountains and ranges in that area, and plenty of wet weather, showers, maybe some rain further northwards you go as that southeasterly comes on through. So it may be a bit bleak on Monday in the eastern areas here, but further to the west and north, there will be a burst of showers, and then it should clear up. Usually southeasterly is quite a sunny direction for Waikato and Auckland. Bay of Plenty, bit on the borderline of both. By Tuesday of next week, still in that southeasterly flow. I didn't highlight it today, but I should have done. The blue line. So that marks the polar boundary, the airflow that's usually down here to the south of us. Well, that's coming right up and over most of New Zealand, right up to Northland. So temperatures are down, but because it's southeasterly, like I say, sunny weather comes in to a number of places on the western and northern sides of New Zealand. But if you're in the east, Waited Upper, Hawke's Bay, up towards Gisborne and East Cape, there is that southeasterly with showers, temperatures are down, clearer skies, lighter winds around the South Island. And yes, that is the next little burst of wintry weather coming into Tasmania and the southeast corner of Australia. One of the reasons we're getting all of this low pressure, the high pressure zones like this one, a lot of them are going further northwards. And while there are some that are still to the south here, it's that kind of mixed match sort of shape of them that's giving us all this variety in our weather. At the start of the year, the highs were in one big stream from west to east. That's why we went into drought here and in New Zealand. Now it's broken up. That's what happens in winter. So we've got a lot more variety in our weather at the moment around New Zealand. That is all from me. We have no video tomorrow, Thursday. I'm away at field days. Be back again on Friday. I'll see you then.